guys, Ray from Love You RV and Boats. So, as many of you know, if you follow me, just love dry camping or boondocking off grid in our RV and anchoring out in our boat. So, with that, I've added a few things over the years to our boondocking systems, mainly a sewer tote and a water bag. And I needed pumps to pump the waste out into the sewer tote and pump water from the water bladder back into the RV. That way I could stay camped, for weeks at a time and not have to move it to go to the dump station. So I bought myself a few different items to accomplish that. I'll just show you here. First of all, we have the Flojet portable RV macerator pump. You can see it here. Came in a nice case and everything. This is kind of the top end macerator pumps. The same company that's called Xylem actually makes Jabsco pumps for marine. Our boat has a number of them in it as well. So I decided to go and spend the extra cash to get that, and I was glad I did. It's lasted pretty well. I think I got it in 2021. It's now 2025. I did recently have to put a rebuild kit in it. Some of the seals in it were failing and gaskets, so there was a little rebuild kit. I did a video about that. But I had picked this pump because it had a little bit higher amperage motor and a little bit better wiring than a lot of the pumps on the market. And for the water transfer pump, I was using this USA Adventure gear. And same thing, it was a pretty beefy pump that could pump is kind of made for water transfer. And that worked out really well. And I've had it working no problem for a number of years. I got that in 2021 as well. I've used it to transfer water on the boat and the RV. Unfortunately, they did recently go out of business. I noticed on their website here, 2024, it has closed, so no longer offering 12-volt water pumps and accessories, which is too bad. It was a pretty good quality pump. I think the Flojet macerator is like $250, and this one went for, I think, about close to 200. Anyway, now to the point of the video. Recently, a company contacted me, or their rep did, and it's these Magam pumps, and they have a macerator pump and also a water fill pump. And they offered me some free samples if I'd like to do a demo for them. So I thought, well, people might not want to spend so much money on these sort of higher end pumps. We'll see what the cheaper end one does, because this one is on Amazon right now only $98, so pretty cheap compared to 200 and whatever, $50 for the Flojet. And their water pump is $88 compared to what I paid, close to 200 for that USA Adventure gear. This also looks like a 5-chamber pump and has better specs. Anyway, I'll give you a demo of each of those in action, and I'll come back and let you know how they've performed in the brief time I've had them. Fair disclaimer, this was sent to me as a free review sample. So what do we got in this kit? Here's the pump itself. It says 12 volts, 144 watts, lift 10 feet, 3 meters, duty cycle intermittent, and 12 gallons per minute. Also says it draws 12 amps max. Inside there we got the blades that chop up any solids into, they say, 1/8 of an inch size, and it's all got the bayonet fitting to hook onto an RV output. Here's the output hose barb connector there, and they give you a little kit to attach that, and then that goes to a 3/4 inch kind of garden hose socket there. And there's also another fitting here, and that's got a one-way check valve in it, and then you hook this up, and that's for flushing things out with fresh water. Check valve means water can go in, but waste can't come back out. Nice touch there. Here's the wiring hookup. So we've got a connector here, and they supply a length of cable with a switch and also a 12-volt power socket and connectors to hook onto a battery. So right away I noticed these usually are 10 amps max, and the pump's saying 12 amps. A weird difference there. We'll just have to see how much this draws. I'm going to try hooking it straight up to a battery, and I'm also going to try to plug this into a little power station I have that has a 12-volt socket, and we'll see how it performs. I'm also going to sort of give you a comparison. This is my Flojet macerator pump that I've been using for a number of years out camping. A little bit beat up, but its specs are a little different. It's 12 volts, 16 amps, 13 gallons per minute. Has a little better wiring and a little better, kind of like that switch a little better than this tiny little switch here. Seems a little bit cheaper quality. So let's hook it up to my system and we'll give you a demo. Okay, so we're hooked to the waste output of my RV. I've connected a 3/4 inch 25-foot hose. It's going to my truck, and up in there is a sewer tote. And then I've run the wiring over and we're connected to a 12-volt battery. Give her a try. Seems to be pumping. Yeah, you hear it going in there. It's going to check the amperage. So it's showing about 11 amps. Next I'm going to test it with a power station and the DC output on it. Well, seems to be running it. 9.58 amps and about 131 watts. So it's just able to power it, which is good to know. I'm going to try with some solids here, let some black tank go through and see if it can handle that. You can hear it chewing it up. Sounds like it's filling it. Not as fast as the Flojet though. I think it has a little less flow. So, it does seem to work for me. A couple thoughts I have on the wiring though. I'm a little worried about that. Putting that much amperage through, you're basically maxing out connectors like this and they're going to get pretty hot. This little switch, it eventually will probably start to fail and get hot too. And these little connectors here and connectors here. So what I would do if I was using this pump, I would probably, at that end, I would get a new wiring cable with thicker wires and maybe a better switch and wire it directly to a 12-volt source. Probably get a better luck out of it, but this does seem to work. Today I'm going to be demoing a water pump from a company called Magam. So this pump is quite a powerful water pump, more powerful than what usually you would have in an RV, more aimed at water transfer, but it's something I wanted for off-grid camping because a lot of times I bring this big water bag, there's 60 gallons of water in there, and I pump it into my RV. So fair disclosure, This company sent this as a review sample for me, no charge. What I'm going to do is hook it up for you, and then I'm going to test some of its specs here, mainly the flow rate. It says 7 gallons per minute. A couple other things to keep in mind. This is a 12-volt pump. It draws 7 amps with a max amps of 19 amps and a flow rate of 7 gallons per minute and a PSI of 70. So those specs are quite high. You wouldn't want to just throw this into your RV as a replacement pump, because most RV pumps are rated for about 45 to 55 PSI and lower amperage. So this thing needs a lot more amperage than a lot of RVs have. Same thing with boats, so you'd have to check into that if you're going to use this as a replacement pump. But it should make quite a nice transfer pump. It is a 5-chamber pump. A lot of the lower PSI pumps are 3-chamber or 4-chamber. You can see in here we got 5 chambers. Comes with a hookup here, so you have to figure that out for yourself from that end. Things it comes with is in here we have a little inline strainer filter, a couple spare filters, just little screens to keep debris out of the pump, some plumbing tape, and then some input and output ports that will screw on here. It's just on the end of here is some threaded ports. Pull that off so you can get a closer look. There we go there. And we have an arrow that tells you the flow rate, the flow orientation there. So input here, output there, pressure switch. Feels very good in my hand, lots of weight to it, so pretty heavy duty motor in there. And then on the bottom we've got some rubber feet to help with vibration. Cool. So yeah, I'm going to be using this as a transfer pump for transferring water into my RV. Also on my boat, I'm probably going to set it up when we get back in the spring and use it as a washdown pump. So it'll draw water out of our water tanks. And then because it's got a nice 70 PSI, I figure it would be good when I'm off grid and I want to wash off the decks. Okay, so I did a little bit of mod to the power output here. This is the connector it comes with, but I have my system set up to use these connectors. They're an XT90 connector. They're good for 100 amps, so should be no problem. It just helps me plug into all my different components. Like I have this pre-made cable here that plugs into a jack on my truck, which is hooked up to the 12-volt battery in my pickup truck. So let's hook her up and give her a try. I've put in the strainer just on the front just so we can test that. Added my hoses to the input and output. I think they're a 1/2 inch, but I have actually 5/8, so hopefully the clamps will hold enough. Otherwise I'll have to put something in there to kind of beef it up underneath, but we'll give her a try. Okay, so we're plugged in, we're hooked up to the water bladder, got hookups here. I did have to take these apart and wrap some tape around them and retighten them just because I have 5-inch hoses and these are for 1/2 inch. So I think I'll have to get myself, so I prefer to use 5/8, but 1/2 inch is a pretty common size. So let's give her a test here. Pretty quiet. Seems to work. I'm just going to get my flow meter and we'll take a measurement of the flow. Got a flow meter here. And we're getting right around 24.9. That's liters. I'll have to do a conversion for you. So we're getting pretty close to 25 liters a minute going through there. Pretty good rate, nice and quiet. Give you a quick demo of using it as a washdown pump. Just have in a bucket here and attached a hose. Give you an idea of the spray that'll come out of it. Pretty decent, actually. Definitely could wash my RV and truck and wash the boat decks using this. So there you go. Seems to work as advertised. On here it says 26.5 liters per minute. So we're getting pretty close to that. There's going to be some variation. I'm drawing it out of a bag here, so maybe not as much pressure. And going through all this hosing and that, but I'll give it a thumbs up. If it has some durability, it's going to be really good. Anyway, I think I'm going to use it for boondocking and for water transfer on my boat and wash down. Well, there you go. That's a demo of each of these cheaper end pumps, and they perform surprisingly well. I'm going to keep using them on our trip here just to give them a little bit of a longer term run. We still have several months left of dry camping here, and this one will be pumping out our waste, and this one will be pumping in our fresh water. I did measure the amperage on this. I was pumping this through my 3-stage water filter, and I did see it was drawing pretty close to 15 amps. Just out of interest, this one, like say, draws 10 or 11 amps. So I have changed the hookups here. On this one, I've just plugged my power cable that I was using for the Flojet. I had made up a cable here, and then I plug it up into here. And I actually have an old RV power converter that puts out about 14 volts. So what I do is I just plug that into the RV because I always have like a big inverter running, so it gives me a nice steady voltage for the pump. So I'll just demo plugging into that. Plugging into that, actually, I get a little more output pressure going on, I think, because the voltage coming out of here is higher, and I have a nice thick cable. So let's give that a test for you. Not too bad. Yeah, that's just some of our shower water. That's why it's so bubbly and cleaner looking. Didn't want to show you the nasty stuff in this demo. Anyway, till next time, Ray from Love Your RV and Boat. Cheers, guys.